Hello there, beautiful friends from all around the world. I am your host, Blackenfist, but I am not alone. I'm joined here by...
Alrighty guys, it is Qaaman here today.
And today's Thought for Talk topic is, when exactly is it when Vegeta surpassed Gohan? You know, I thought this topic was somewhat relevant because, as we all know, Vegeta actually has been getting a big push in Dragon Ball recently with Battle of Gods, and now even with the new Fukkatsu no F movie. I mean, the two most prominent characters in that movie poster that has been released is Goku and Vegeta. So, Vegeta's been really getting paid his dues recently. So that's why I wanted to talk about this, because with all the Vegeta hype going on, a lot of people have forgotten that Gohan actually was stronger than Vegeta by a very wide margin at the end of the Buu saga, so I felt this was somewhat of a relevant topic. Now, as we all know, at the end of the series, after the 10-year gap, Vegeta, we could probably assume, was stronger than Gohan, considering the fact that Vegeta was still training, and Gohan probably not so much. So by the end of that arc, we could probably assume that Vegeta was probably the stronger of the two. But a lot of people tend to overlook of the fact that by the end of the Buu saga, Gohan was enormously stronger than Vegeta, and Qaaman actually has a theory that he actually thinks that Gohan was actually even stronger than a Super Saiyan 3 Goku by the end of the Buu saga. Would you want to share your thoughts on that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, Blackenfist was one of my oldest videos for you guys to check it out. I'm sure Blackenfist will link in the description, where I was talking about the different forms of Majin Buu, and I was talking about the strongest Z fighters. And essentially the main point from the manga was that when Gohan was fighting against Piccolo right after Super Buu had absorbed Gotenks, Super Buu had actually powered down, and when Goku came to, the fight to give Gohan the earrings in case, anything went bad, when he powered down into Piccolo, Goku strictly said, "Gohan can handle you now," which implies that Goku felt that Gohan was still capable of beating Piccolo, which would obviously give him the advantage over Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Now, originally, I used to believe that at the time of the Buu saga that Super Saiyan 3 Goku was actually stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, but after looking through some comments about Buff Buu and the transformation into Buff Buu, I've been convinced that Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks was even stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku at that point, which would mean, Blackenfist, that you can make an argument that Vegeta wasn't even stronger than Gotenks for several years as well.
That's actually true. If you really think about it, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, mind you, was even stronger than Vegeta at the end of the Buu saga, and
astronomically.
Yes, and you could argue that it even took Vegeta years to surpass Gotenks, but you have to also keep in mind that Gohan was stronger than Gotenks, definitely stronger than Gotenks, and there's an argument to be made that Gohan was even stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, making him pretty much the strongest character in the whole series besides Vegito, of course.
Yes, strongest unfused character.
We're just trying to put in perspective the enormous gap that was left in the wake of the Buu saga between Vegeta and Gohan specifically. Even if some of you might disagree with our assessment of Gohan being the strongest character, at the very least, in terms of unfused characters, you have to agree that Goku and Gohan were pretty much in their own league at the end of the Buu saga, and kinda unfortunately left Vegeta in the dust after it. Now, this question really hasn't been relevant because, it was a 10-year gap and we could always assume Vegeta catched up, but now with these movies filling in the blanks of this time period, I guess this question is actually now somewhat relevant, because now it's like, okay, well then when did Vegeta specifically surpass Gohan? And I would make a case that Vegeta in Battle of Gods probably didn't definitively surpass Gohan. Battle of Gods approximately took place 4 years after the end of the Buu saga, and I would argue that even with Gohan minimally or no training whatsoever, that Vegeta probably is around the same strength, same speed, same whatever, and is around Gohan's level. And actually, this actually brings me to a nitpick that I had about the movie, in which Bierce makes a pretty unusual comment in my assessment, in which he says that maybe in a couple years' time, he'll have his rival in Goku and Vegeta. Now, when I heard this statement, now granted, I know this is a nitpick and it's not a major deal, it's just a minor nitpick, is that I found a problem with this statement, because I was like, wait a minute, isn't Gohan around the same strength as Vegeta? Because I was keeping in mind that, wait, Gohan was insanely strong at the end of the Buu saga, and I would have figured that even with Vegeta training his freaking ass off, he was still comparable to Gohan. He's not like way above Gohan by no means, so I felt it was weird that Beerus would say something like that, because if he's saying Vegeta is comparable to Goku, well, that would mean that Gohan is also comparable to Vegeta, so it's really those three. And I really want to say this because the big perception in Battle of Gods, and even now with Fukkatsu no F, although I think with Fukkatsu no F it's a little bit more justified because, it is later down the timeline when Gohan still continues to degenerate, the big perception is that it's Goku and Vegeta and no one else. When in reality, it's Goku, Vegeta, and Gohan, and if you think of fused characters, Gotenks was stronger than Vegeta for a couple of those years as well.
Well, yeah, I actually have a lot of thoughts about it, and we've discussed, my elevator theory. I'll say it really quick. Essentially, that's when, one power level is appreciating going up, and Gohan's power level is depreciating. But Blackenfist, you and I slightly disagree when it pertains to Vegeta, because I personally think that in Battle of Gods, I still think Vegeta was weaker than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. I don't think that he could have possibly have gained that amount of power at that point. However, based off of what we've seen from, our limited knowledge of Fukkatsu no F before the movie's been released.
Wait. Before we get to Fukkatsu no F, I think that we have to address one critical moment that happened in Battle of Gods.
Oh yeah, I thought we were going to save that for later.
It's the My Bulma moment where Vegeta apparently surpasses Goku in this one moment, or at least that's what Master Roshi claims, and obviously we think that this is an absolutely bogus, ridiculous, it was taken literally. Obviously we think it was hyperbole, it was exaggeration. We don't really think that Vegeta was even close to a Super Saiyan 3 Goku in Battle of God.
Yes, Blackenfist, and as a matter of fact, I remember you specifically said something even a little bit more. If Master Roshi was comparing Vegeta at that point to what Goku was in the Buu saga, that was one thing, but you said it would be almost impossible to compare to him to this even stronger Goku. That's what you had the biggest problem with, I remember.
Yes, there is really no way that Vegeta could have possibly have been stronger than a Super Saiyan 3 Goku in Battle of Gods.
Blackenfist, you better defend yourself because the comment section's about to eat you.
The fact that Goku has also been intensely training, and the fact that he already had an enormous lead on him at the end of the Buu saga, there is no way that in that one moment he could have surpassed him. And quite honestly, I honestly think Master Roshi was going a little senile, to be, put it bluntly. And I always took it as Master Roshi, even though some of his sensing and power predictions have been somewhat accurate in the past, I just think that Vegeta and Goku and Beerus and Gohan, these guys are just so much more infinitely stronger than Master Roshi himself that he's kind of lost how to gauge these guys properly, and I think that's what was going on in that moment. And even if it wasn't, maybe it was just a simple exaggeration.
Well, Blackenfist, because of all of what you just said, that brings me to my point where I think I should evaluate where I think the gap was eventually cracked, and I think that, going now that we can move on to Fukkatsu no F, my original point was that I think that as it's implied that Vegeta and Goku could have been training with Beerus based off of the symbols that we saw on their shirts, I think that Vegeta closed the gap in this movie. Like, in the years where he was training between Battle of Gods and this upcoming film, I think that's the point where Vegeta closed the gap. Because, as we both said, Gohan's power is depreciating, and Vegeta's power is appreciating. Even though it'd be insane for, a Super Saiyan 1, or a Super Saiyan 2 at most Vegeta to catch up to Gohan, theoretically, because of the ability to potentially turn into a Super Saiyan God, which we haven't seen, I think this is really the point where Vegeta takes the next step.
If Fukkatsu no F does take place 3 years after Battle of Gods, I actually think that Vegeta could probably close the gap even before this movie even starts, maybe a year before this movie starts. And I just want to stress that I think that Vegeta also could surpass Gohan without Beerus or Whis' help. Obviously, Gohan is seriously not training at all, and quite honestly, that's the only reason Vegeta even catches up in the first place, is because Gohan doesn't train at all. And quite honestly, if Gohan only trained moderately, just to maintain his power, I honestly believe that Vegeta wouldn't catch up to Gohan in a couple years, and not even a 10-year gap would be enough for Vegeta to catch up. And the only reason he really does is because Gohan doesn't train. And honestly, because of that, I do feel that slightly before Fukkatsu no F begins, or that movie begins, I do believe Vegeta will finally definitively be stronger, faster, you know, more powerful than Gohan in every single way by that time.
So, Blackenfist, I guess that just means that me and you mostly agree. The only thing we disagree with is that in Battle of Gods, I think Gotenks was still stronger than Vegeta and you don't.
Well, obviously, considering the fact that Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks was stronger than Vegeta in the end of the Buu saga, and I would assume that the Gotenks that we see in Battle of Gods pretty much didn't change much, I would say that even Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, mind you, I want to stress this, the Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks would probably be still slightly stronger than Vegeta. Mind you, I also really want to stress this point, just because I think that Gotenks or even Gohan are stronger or faster or more powerful, I don't think that they're gonna win in a fight, because obviously Gohan and Gotenks, well actually I think that Gotenks less so, because I actually think that Goten and Trunks train more than Gohan actually does, but more so with Gohan. Gohan is a lot more rusty on his fighting skills, and he could still lose to Vegeta just because of that. Even in Dragon Ball, the most powerful characters don't win. Vegeta still has a chance in an actual fight with Gohan.
Well, Blackenfist, it looks like we're entering the last portion of this video, so I have to ask you this final question. If we have pointed out the points where we think Vegeta can surpass Gohan, when does he surpass Piccolo? Because we all know that Piccolo's the best fighter in the whole series, and he's stronger than every other character. So, at what point does Vegeta surpass Piccolo?
That might be a future thought for talk, so stay tuned. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Because we have a thought for talk coming up strictly about Piccolo, and yes guys, I'm kidding, I don't think Piccolo is stronger than Vegeta, Goku, or the other Saiyans. I was just trying to put my favorite character out there. Gotta give a Namek some love, right?
But anyway guys, this has been our thought for talk, and I hope that you enjoyed this segment, and hopefully the Vegeta fans weren't too upset. We don't hate Vegeta, we just wanted to, you know, bring things back into perspective on how strong these characters are in relation to each other. But as always guys, I'm Blackenfist, and I'm out, man.
And please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, as I always say, to have a great day, guys.